How do we
Well,
not?
Mr. Christensen, the next question is for you.
Yes, sir.
Tulsa has now recorded, as of yesterday, I guess, 32 homicides for 2013. It is a pace that could easily result in a record-breaking homicide rate for this year. What do you believe is at the root of the city's high homicide rate, and what is the solution?
Well, I would say to you that there's a whole bunch of things that are at the root of it, from, disjointed families, low economic conditions, just a myriad of things. I'm not the expert in that field, especially. But I really say to you the solution is, one of the part of the solution is more police officers. Right now we have a reactive police force, and we need to have a proactive police force. Both my opponents laid off police officers while I was on the council. It broke my heart, because in my mind, public safety is the foundation of the city of Tulsa. Public safety is the foundation of economic development. So I think Mayor Bartlett laid off 121, and Mayor Taylor laid off, I don't know, 3. Well, the net 3. But anyway, so I think, number one, it's more police officers, because at the end of the day, we have to let the bad guys know that we have the resources to go out and get them. Because right now, there's a lot of crime that goes on that's petty crime. And the citizens aren't served. They call and say, oh, go to Quick Trip and fill out a form, or get online and fill out a form, and they never see an officer. I think the citizens deserve more than that. So I think the number one thing is more police officers. And I would say this to you, too, that as I watched the police officers get laid off, I also watched the cost of overtime for recalling police officers, to pay them overtime. I think right now it's up, this fiscal year, it's up to $3.5 million of overtime. So it's voodoo economics to say, well, we're not going to hire more officers, we're just going to do with what we've got. And for many years, there haven't been enough police officers, and all of a sudden it's an election year, so everybody wants to add more police officers. I've been saying that for a long time and fighting for that for many, many years, and my two opponents seem to have jumped on it just because it's an election year.
Kathy Taylor, is police manpower the only response to our crime problem? And I follow this up because viewers have told us time and again, and actually officers have, that they can only do so much, really, as the people in our neighborhoods will allow them to do, by speaking out, feeling confident that they can tell them what they've seen. And in so many neighborhoods, officers say, nobody's saying anything. It's a trust issue. They don't know who to trust, but they know who could come and get them. What do we do about that?
Absolutely. It is more officers on the streets, but it is also a trust with our police department. When I first got in office, within the first 3 weeks, there were 3 17-year-old men who were murdered. And I sat in the North Peoria Church of Christ with those families, and I asked, please help me. Tell us who did this horrible crime. And the mother looked me straight in the eyes. She was holding a toddler in her arms, and she said, lady, do you want to get the rest of my babies killed? And at that point, we knew we had a serious trust issue between parts of our community and the police department. And we did a couple of things. One of our officers brought us a program from North Carolina called the Confidential Reliable Citizen Program, where citizens could literally register with and be assigned a number, and they could report tips without fear of reprisal. We also started a group called the Mayor's Police and Community Committee, where we had people from all around the community, a very diverse group, and our police chief and the mayor and officers. We met on a monthly basis to talk about how we increase trust in the community. We actually held a conference with teenagers and police officers so they could learn how to interact, and police officers could understand teenagers' feelings. So it's absolutely, that's part of it. Really solving the crime issue is prevention, it's intervention, and then it's apprehending the criminals and making sure we've got the officers on the street to do that and making sure they have the data and the equipment that's needed. But you really have to take a comprehensive approach to problem solving and to solving the problem of crime, and that does include trust with our community and doing everything we can to build that. Strengthening neighborhood associations and making sure that our police officers are there at our neighborhood association meetings with the data about what's going on. We brought CompStat to Tulsa, and certainly it's increased in its vibrancy since 6 years ago around other parts of the country, but CompStat allowed our neighborhood associations public access to what was happening in the police department and crime. That's how we build trust.
Mayor Bartlett, did firing and then having to rehire all of those officers exacerbate crime in Tulsa?
Don't think they exacerbated crime. It certainly caused a lot of heartburn, a lot of heartache for those that were affected by it. It was very difficult. But it would not have happened if we would have had no deficit spending. It would not have happened, or it would have been minimized if we hadn't have purchased City Hall. It's a great building. It's fun, all that sort of thing. But we couldn't afford it. And we presently now spend $2 million out of our general fund, more than it costs to have an annual police academy, if we had not bought the building that the previous administration, previous city council approved. That would have helped us, not having that building. 32 homicides are 32 too many. The ones we see now are a result of domestic problems that we have. But I have proposed a very realistic way to solve the problem. We do need more police officers. We do need more firefighters. We have to get up to minimum manning levels in a relatively small period of time, short period of time, 3 to 5 years. If we simply reallocate a portion of our 0.167% of 1 cent that will be expiring next year, that will provide us enough police officers that we can hire and train, 70 to be specific, 45 new firefighters. It will provide money not just for the training and the hiring for 1 year, but for the rest of their career. We'll also provide 3 crews to maintain our street system that we desperately need. But the public safety issue is of prime importance now. We cannot look at the general fund now and come up with some pie-in-the-sky efficiencies, because we've already done that. The operating fund that we use right now, we've had since 1984, that 2 cents. And we've squeezed it down and squeezed it down and squeezed it down. This proposal that we've given does give us a verifiable option, dedicated option, gets us out of the general fund, and it's not a tax increase, and it will work.